What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, all right? It is the 25th of May. We're on our final stretch of the month here, you guys. We have, including today, 7 days left in the month, I believe, right? It doesn't include today, so this should say 6 to get to the end of the month. Yeah, 31st is 6. Including today would be 7. Last week, final home stretch here. Not to mention we are on the last day of the week as well, 21 hours, 18 minutes. So... coming up to the end of the week here, looking to close the highest levels that we've ever closed in Bitcoin's history. If we can close here at 107.7K or higher, really I think it's 107.5K or higher, we will have our weekly RSI in the overbought zone. And I'm not going to go through every example in history as we did, at least with the last 3 cycles. We did that in a video like not too long ago. But we can just look at these past examples of what's happened whenever we've gotten overbought in the RSI on the weekly time frame and see what that means, right? Because this is at least since the cycles began. So from a weekly perspective, when you got overbought here, that was essentially the top of this phase up here, right? Whenever you started moving up here, right there, you got overbought here. That was your nice 26% move up. You continue to move up and then consolidate over here. But this is your first move coming out of the bear market, so it's kind of weak. This reading here correlated with this move. This reading here correlated with this move. A lot stronger movements here. Same thing here. This reading correlated with this move here. I believe, I mean, we've already got this move going on, but once we get into our overbought zone, I think that we'll see a reading that is very similar to these ones, if not even stronger than our most recent one, producing an overall stronger move as well, taking us to about 170 to 180K. Some people, some analysts, smarter than me, better looking than me, who am I to say? But some of them think that we're going to go to 200K by the end of June here, if not early July. I could see 200K happening. I could see 200K happening more than I could see 150K happening. But I really do think 170 to 180K, I mean, that's the target I've stuck with. And I'm not just sticking with it out of blind faith. We're sticking with it because, to me, that's what makes the most sense. And we can make sense out of that real quick, and then we'll dissect the short-term stuff, because I feel like we haven't talked about this in a second. But just to refresh anybody's memories, or if they just like looking at shiny numbers or fancy Fibonacci lines, whatever. High to low here, odds are we're probably going to go past this area, because if we take a look at this, hold on, I got to click out of a pop-up. I don't think you guys see the pop-up, but I see it, and it's annoying. If we take a look here, our movements, right, I would say this move began here, and then we went all the way up here. That was the end of that move. That was 87% move. This move here, the low was here, but the move really started here. So from there to the high here, maybe not this move overall. And I guess this move, if we're really dissecting it, it was kind of broken down into multiple moves, right? This move here, 44%. This move here was 58%. 44, 58, 64, low here to high there, 91. And then here as well, this move, if I can get rid of the fibs, this move here, I would say your low started here, but the move probably started over here, and then up to the high. That was a 98% move, right? Overall, even if you don't want to take it to the high, just the initial phase of the move, 82%, whatever, pretty strong movement. And actually, it would have started there, 89%. Pretty strong movement. I would expect that we see a stronger move than what we saw last time. Overall, I mean, this high was over here, right? So 105%. I would think that we see something stronger than that. And that would take us to $152,000. If we take a high here to a low there, that brings us up to this 188,600 area. I don't think that we're going to go just above that area. I think we're going to go to the next zone, which the next zone would be the 2272. The reason why I think we're going to go to the next zone is, again, this is taken from our most, I'm going to delete that real quick. It was taken from our most recent move, right? That's our most recent move there, followed by the move before that and the move before that. If you notice, each of these moves, the percentages are getting bigger. And typically with Bitcoin in any bull cycle, that's what happens. You get bigger moves as time goes on, especially after the halving. After the halving, we get some of the biggest moves ever. So, and it's very well anticipated that this is going to be the biggest move of the cycle. I'm not the only person saying it. I've been saying it for a while, but I'm not the only person saying it. And great minds think alike. So do the dumb ones, though. We'll see what we got going on upstairs, one way or another, won't we? But I would think that if we see something that's larger than the move that we just had, from a low to a high here, right? Something that's larger, I would think that it's not minusculely larger. I think that it'd be significantly larger, as each of these have been progressively significantly larger. That would take us to the next fib zone. With the 2272 specifically, you oftentimes don't stop right at the line. You'll actually find resistance just above, but we could find resistance below. We could find resistance above. The point being, this is at 178K, 170, 180K. 190K, whatever, we're coming for you. That zone there, that's likely where we're going to go. Not only does that agree, does that make sense on that fib there from our most recent high to low on our most recent kind of significant consolidation phase. So we take a high to low here, our golden ratio extension, the 1618 is all the way up at 173.8K. If you go back in time and you notice Bitcoin's interactions with these 1618s, oftentimes it does not do this. Oftentimes Bitcoin does not do this. What it does is it'll wick through. And if we wick through, how high could we go? 180K, 190K, sure thing. We could wick through and then close below. That would be my expectation with the 1618, that we find resistance here, but we wick a little bit above it. By the end of June, early July, that's kind of the expectation, right? We're starting off right now, right? This move, I mean, obviously this move started here, but we're starting off with breaking out to new all-time highs. We're not done. We've got more work to go. Our weekly RSI hasn't even been in the overbought zone yet. We very much believe that we're going to see some stronger progressions ahead. And if we look at this, I would say as far as a bull market reading goes, let's just look at this real quick, right? We're on the all-time history. I want to make sure that we're on the all-time history. Hold on. Yes, all-time history index right here, okay? If we look at this, I believe this is not really a strong read. This is not a typical read in the weekly RSI right there. What we saw, that peak, weaker than these readings, weaker than this reading, right? And that was back in January of 2021, last like kind of height of the bull market right here, right? Weaker than these readings, weaker than these readings, even weaker than this. There's a couple that were about this low or lower, but most of the time Bitcoin on a weekly aspect stops above this line. So all I'm trying to offer by that consensus is we started from a deeper point, we're going to a higher point, and we started from a higher point here in the price. Isn't it fathomable that we might see some kind of a larger move than what we saw last time? I'm just trying to say that. I guess where we started doesn't really have as much to do with it, to be completely fair, but where we started here and where we're going, if it's going to be a bigger move overall on the RSI, I would expect a bigger move, and with stronger readings especially, I would expect a bigger move in the price. And again, bigger move as to what? Relative strength index, relative price, bigger move in respects as to that. If we put this move, if we do it tit for tat, that put us right at 150K. We're likely going to go to 170, 180K. I hope it makes sense. I hope it's very clear. It should be very, very clear. We can go through the timing and why it would make sense for June 2, but I don't want to. I'm getting bored already. So let's do the short-term stuff, and then we'll end this video, okay? Looking at this here, it's the 25th still, right? We've just begun the day. $107.7 thousand right now. Picking up volume as you're moving down, but you're also picking up volume here, and you're not going anywhere. You got a higher low. That's nice to see. I think that's it for Bitcoin, man. I think, yeah, low, higher low, higher low. That's double bullish divergence, or maybe not. Bullish divergence turned into bullish convergence. I think that's it. I don't think you're going any lower. I think if you were to go lower, you would have done it. And who am I to say? We're about to close this hour. We have 11 minutes left. But over the last 3 hours, I think you had the chance to go below this low, and you just didn't do it. You had the volume and everything to back you up. The RSI was looking bad, and all you did was actually hold a higher low and bounce off your oversold zone. Now it's up to the bulls to decide if this is the real deal, or if we are just going to kind of meander and then move lower. If we move lower, it's fine. Go to 105K. I doubt you go too much below 105K, if at all below 105K. You might not even go below this low here that you just set up an hour ago at 107.2K. But if you don't make a movement now, likely what's going to happen, like what you want to see here with this kind of reaction to the RSI is you want to get above the 40. More than that, you want to get above the 50, and of course you want to get above the 60 inevitably. But specifically, you need to get above the 40. If you come up here and you reject the 40 and then you come back down, likely we're going to go lower in the RSI, likely you're going to go lower in the price. So watch for that. I think that getting above the 40 in the RSI are so close right now, that might be reflected in the price. If we go, you're at 107.7K, maybe like 108.8 thousand, 108.5, something like that, a little bit higher. That's all it would take to get this thing above the 40. But stay above the 40 on the RSI, stay above this area in price and start to progress. This could look like some kind of relative double bottom or higher low, whatever, to progress out of this. I'm not expecting anything big. It is Sunday. I'm not expecting anything big. I think that we'll just move sideways, and that's kind of the expectation of the weekend itself with Labor Day or Memorial Day weekend. It's not really the expectation for it to be a very crazy eruptive weekend. It's supposed to be boring, so we might spend today moving up on Sunday and then coming back down, who knows, by the end of the day. And then Monday we're doing the same thing. Tuesday we start to rally. I don't know. I do expect that by the end of the month of May we will see price targets that are around $120,000 to $140,000. I'm leaning toward 130 to 140 specifically, but the target range that we have is 120 to $140,000. If we look at this from a high to a low right here, come on now. 121K is our primary target. 138 is our maximum target. and I very much think that we'll stop somewhere in between this zone, but this is where we're going to go likely by the end of this month. If we're not here, I mean, I would expect that we're at least here, but if we're not done with the move, maybe we're ultimately going up to 140K, but it's not by the end of this month, it's in the beginning of next month. I don't know, but I would expect that we get some resolution at the very least in this zone. I don't think that we're stopping until we're above 130K. Whether that's by the end of the month or sometime early in June, that remains to be seen. I've got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Daily RSI looks great. It's immaculate. It's beautiful. It's exactly what you want. It's perfect. Go a little bit lower. Do it. It's fine if you do. We can get lower lows in the RSI and higher lows in the price. It's hidden bullish divergence. That's a good thing. Weekly time frame, the only thing is I would like it if today could close above 107.5K, just because then we do assure ourselves as being in the overbought zone on the weekly time frame. And typically with that, you don't just stop here. Typically you don't even stop here. You stop above there. So that could produce a lot of bullish stuff over the coming weeks, and I expect it will, inevitably taking us to 170 to 180. I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. 6 days, 22 hours left in the month to go. If we can close here or higher, we're going to be in the overbought zone on the monthly too. That would be pretty damn tremendous, I think. All right, take care. Bye-bye.